closer to the assembly area, also based on their close relationship. So with all of these changes, we were able to move lapping in a temperature-controlled room, to move the closely related relationships, and to reduce walking distance by 47%. Although this isn't significantly high, our main focus here for a new design of the layout was to put lapping in a controlled temperature area. So now looking at our cash flow diagram, we have our quality control system and our facility redesign, based on the assumption that we would able to decrease the failure rate from 35% to 10%. So with the quality control system costing about $1,700 and a facility redesign construction costing about $5,000, we have an initial investment of $6,700. And over a time-year horizon of 5 years, we have a total net present value of $3.9 million.
And then we modified the current state simulation and we came up with two alternatives that would satisfy the future demand. The first alternative would be to add one honing worker, one lapping worker, and one testing and assembly worker. From the graph, some of the cycle times for the operation exceeds the takt time, which means that they will not be able to meet the future demand. However, by adding an 8.5 overtime for 3 lapping workers, they will be able to meet the future demand. From simulation, the utilization of workers for honing decreased to 74%. For lapping, it's still 100%, which is significantly high. And for assembly and testing, it decreased to 79%. With the time utilization for this system increased compared to the current system to 76%. With this system, they will be able to meet the future demand and produce 168 units per week. The second alternative is by adding one honing worker, 2 lapping workers, and 1 testing and assembly workers. From the graph, the cycle time does not exceed the takt time, which means that they will be able to meet the future demand with this system. From the simulation results, for the lapping worker utilization, it decreased to 87% by adding 1 additional worker. And the timing system for this system it decreased compared to alternative 1 to 404 minutes. With this system, they will be able to meet the future demand of 168 units per week. To summarize, we compared the two alternatives to the current system. For the timing system, alternative 2 has the lowest timing system, and the time utilization, alternative 2 has the highest. And for the lapping utilization of the worker, alternative 2 was better than alternative 1. And to look at the overall cost over 1 year, alternative 2 is higher than alternative 1 by $4,000. This number is not significantly high, so we chose alternative 2 to be the optimum alternative. And to recall, alternative 2 is by adding 1 honing worker, 2 lapping workers, and one assembly and testing worker. Then we created a cash flow diagram for alternative 2 with an initial cost of $5,000 for buying new machines and an annual cost of around $150,000 of worker salary and an annual benefit of around $2.5 million with an increased production. Over a 5-year horizon, the net present value would be around $8.9 million.
So summarizing everything that we have learned from our analysis, we have a few recommendations. The first would be to implement our quality control system, to use our quality control charts and our sampling process as a basis for them to detect the problem before their demand increases, to increase their worker capacity based on our simulation from alternative 2, and to redesign the facility layout based on the assumption that humidity played a major factor in the lapping operation. With all of these changes, we believe that we can potentially lead to an increase in production rate from 120 parts per week to 168 parts per week and reduce some sources of inefficiency. Here's an overall cash flow diagram from our recommendations. With an initial investment of $11,700, an annual cost of $149,000, an annual benefit of $3.5 million, over a time year horizon of 5 years, we will then be able to make a net present value of $12.8 million. We'd like to thank Dr. Falafini, our advisor, Dr. Rosenkrantz, the IME faculty and staff, and from Dow Hydraulics, David and Jeremy. Thank you.
Any questions?
Can you go back to your control charts? So for your control charts, you need to add the units on the y-axis. Also, are you able to see the numbers for the y-axis? give me a better idea what you're looking for if you give me the specification layers. And also, what are you measuring, or what is the data measuring? I'm not sure what it is measuring. Also, can you go to the previous slide? But for example, this, it's a good opportunity to show us what you're measuring the control charts. Maybe you can not the dimension you're considering, if that is what you're considering.
It's these charts show the clearances between the spool and the sleeve that fit.
So maybe you can show us what you're trying to look at. Also, there's a pattern on your control chart. You see you have like, you can see like 3 triangles. So have you found a cause for that pattern? Is there something that it's telling you?
It's just from our assumptions that we had in our proposal. We think that it's the type of lap for the OD and ID that they use. There was a frequent change in the lapping of that tool. So we think every time they change it, there was like a high defect rate.
Is it the same operator, the same?
So and experience, worker,
So nothing is changing? Is the sample taken every day, or how do you keep this?
For these are average samples, so we took a sample size of 120 with this each point or on the x-axis, each number shows an average of 5 samples.
But it's from the same day?
Over the span of the x-axis, it's for a whole week.
And
So
the first samples?
the first sample would be for the same day. The first 5 samples are
First 5 samples. So then there's the pattern. How did you, also, can you go to the, your proposal for the call? I think it's the next slide. Yes. What do you mean with establishing new quality control charts?
to detect whatever their assignable cause is, and then based on that, to make new quality control charts, so that they can make their new limits.
What do you mean with new? Like, the company doesn't have any quality?
They don't have any quality control system, so we created the control charts for them, and then after that, we want to say to implement them and find their assignable costs, which we weren't able to find.
Oh, maybe then the wording is maybe not correct. Maybe you can say we will implement a quality system which will include monitoring the process by using control charts. Because there's nothing new. You're implementing something. Like, you're not changing something. Maybe you can just rephrase. So it's better that we know that you're working on implementing a quality system.
I think the questions that Dr. Guerrero was asking are the type of questions you'll be asked next week from industry people. These are really industry type questions that are really important for them to know. So yeah, get prepared for these type of questions, especially the pattern. You just realized, you told us that this is because we know what the problem is, why this pattern exists, so you have an assignable cost to it. The only thing I can add to it is that when you're making the presentation, look at the audience. Otherwise, everything was good. Voice of the whole was high, a little bit high for me, but look at the audience so people are engaged.
I'm just curious, where's your third member? Thomas Lloyd?
It's just us two
It's
next.
just us two.
Because he's still.
Oh, I know,
Oh.
yeah.